Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kay Thompson. I am a principal broker with Best Real Estate Company, and this is the latest episode of our Best Real Estate Company's Friday Focus. And I wanted to let you guys know that I actually did record a podcast last week. I had some systemic challenges. I keep having these challenges. And so I wasn't able to get it downloaded so that I could share it with you guys. So, I had a whole big thing that I talked about last week, and I don't want to run all of those things together with what I wanted to kind of talk about this week. So I'm going to kind of try to share little bits of that podcast into future podcasts so that I'm not missing the material that I wanted you to have. I do want to start out by saying a couple of things. I believe I mentioned in either the last podcast that you got or maybe the one before that my lovely sidekick Shanita was in the process of doing some things in her business that was going to make it so that she was not going to be able to host this with me as regularly as she was. And I'm coming to you now to let you know that at this particular time, I don't think she will be able to host with me going forward because something in her business, her personal real estate business, has really, really taken off. And it's going to take a lot of time for her to work and build on that. And so I do want to wish her the best in that endeavor. I'm so, so proud of her for what she is about to embark on, and happy that I was able to be a positive influence for her. And just when when you see Shanita around or in the market, just make sure that that you talk to her and that you kind of get an idea for what she's doing. Like I said, we're all family, so we want to do everything that we can to help push people in the direction that they want to go. And so I couldn't be more excited for that. With that being said, we're going to change the format up a little bit, so I will no longer have what's in my mind considered a permanent sidekick. I think that sometimes, while most of our issue for not always getting the podcast out to you on Friday was that we were having technical issues, I do like to kind of do things on a schedule, and sometimes it's really hard to do that when you're working with someone else who is working against a different timeline. So going forward, I will be the primary host of this podcast, and I will be inviting other people in as necessary to talk to you guys about different topics. One of the things that I realized I have always realized it, is that we don't spend a lot of time in our business talking about the other legs of our business that are so, so important and that can generate revenue for you guys, just like they generate revenue for the agents who work in those fields. And that is business brokerage, our business brokerage leg, and also our commercial leg. We have some wonderful, wonderful professionals in both of those spheres that do good work. It's good, solid work. They don't work in the same way and using the same methodologies exactly for building relationships and getting their deals done. So I thought it would be great to have a different perspective so that you guys can see that, and so that you can remember that we do more than just residential real estate, and that all avenues of real estate can be lucrative for us, and they can be important and just as important as residential. I know so much is focused on that, but my mind is actually divided into compartments when it comes to real estate. And so I want to make sure that I'm exposing agents to that. I can say that for the last few years, I have been here and there, not really a whole lot, but here and there, reminding people that we do have these other legs of business, and then trying to work to get some of our current agents acclimated to working in those fields. And I have not been successful. And so, as successful as I would like to be, I should say, I do know that I've been able to share some certain information with certain people. And then they did come over to try to get a grasp on what we were doing, but it just never worked out that they could get a full understanding because of things that were happening in their business, things that were happening with the people who lead those or who are the main players for those divisions and things of that nature. So we are going to have some conversations and podcasts about those legs of business. We do have a Facebook page that is geared towards our business brokerage. I'll be honest and say I've not been the best at posting information there, but that is one of the goals that I have for this year, that I've written down to do next year, is to do a lot more advertising for our commercial and business brokerage legs. So look out for that. And we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. I really am going to try to keep this to under an hour. Like I said, I have a couple of things that I wanted to share from last week, and then I have some information that I want to share too. Our main topic today, though, is going to be about MLSs, multiple listing services. I've gotten so many calls, and I actually have an agent who has been with us, I would say probably for the bulk of the summer, who right off the bat, she was able to get a listing in the state of Mississippi. That's where she's licensed, and she has a different business that she does. And so real estate is not necessarily as of yet her primary focus, but she was able to hit the ground running. And she has a listing, and she had some questions because while she does have this listing, she's not a member of the Northwest Mississippi Association of Realtors. She does have access to a MLS. And so I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about that because I don't think that I've shared enough, or that it's registered in people's minds how multiple listing services work. And that you can be a part of more than one, and you don't have to join a MLS just by way of being a realtor. So I'm gonna share that with you. But the first thing that I wanted to do is get out of the way some numbers, because I know that most of us don't really have time, because we're running our businesses and showing property and doing different things, to really keep up with the numbers, like what's happening in our market in terms of sales, pricing, and things of that nature. And we just feel like we can always go and get that stuff at a time that is convenient for our particular situation with the particular client. Well, I'm here to let you know that it is important to understand your markets, understand what the numbers are in terms of the amount of inventory that you have available, how it's selling, whether it's selling at inflated prices or depressed pricing, those kind of things, so that when you are having a conversation with anyone, whether they are your existing customer or someone who could be a potential customer, it's good to have an idea of what's happening, especially if you're only operating in the local market that's right around you, because knowledge is power. And, to quote a biblical scripture, the people perish for lack of knowledge. And so I firmly believe that. And so I know that because we don't have people who are always focused on the numbers, I try to share them as often as I can, sit down and dig them up. So in our multiple listing service, or MLS, for the Memphis Realtors, our multiple listing service covers 5 counties, and we get numbers in terms of total home sales and things like that. We can break it all the way down and like really drill down and find things that are specific for zip codes and all of that. But for the most part, our multiple, our not multiple listing service, but our Memphis Area Association of Realtors does post these numbers on like a ticker tape that goes across our Memphis Area Association of Realtors.org website when you go to it. Now, most people don't even pay attention to it. It's right in your face for you to see anytime you go there. But like I said, people, you get used to looking at things and you just stop paying attention. And so I thought I would point these numbers out to you guys. We had 1,451 total home sales in the month of July in our Memphis multiple listing service, so that Memphis statistical area. That was actually up 14.9% from this time, from July of 2023. Um, our inventory was up 3.6% in July compared to July of 2023. Our median home sales price, though, is dropping. It dropped by 4.1% to 230,000. That's the median sales price for the Memphis market, the Memphis Area Association of Realtors statistical area. And so, that tells you a lot about what's happening. If you have somebody that's, pre-qualified for 150,000, they're going to be below this median sales price and what they can purchase. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Just in your mind, what you're facing when you have a client like that, and you should still treat them the same way that you would treat the person who had $1 million. It just kind of gives you an idea of what the inventory is going to look like for a person in that position. As a collective, last month there was sales for 400 that total 424.7 million. So agents as a collective sold $424.7 million. That was up 13.6% from the last month. So not last year, but the last month. These are July numbers, so it went up that amount in from June to July. Actually, I'm sorry, from August to September. We're in September now. And then the average home sales price is actually dropped by 1%. So it's hovering around 230,000. That's the average home sale price right now in the Memphis market. Our average days on the market is 61 days. I do want to point that out to everyone that has a listing. Even if your listing is priced right, there are going to be some instances where it's not going to sell in 30 days or less. As a matter of fact, that's kind of been the trend that has been happening across all the Mid-South. So I have numbers here for not just Memphis, but also for Mississippi and Arkansas, because I'm licensed in all three of those states, as well as a couple others that most of you guys are not licensed in. And so I don't share those numbers because I don't think they're relevant to you at this point. But hopefully we'll get some other agents that are local who want to be licensed in those states, and then we can talk about those. So moving on to the state of Mississippi, the average list price right now, and I want to tell you the numbers for Mississippi are generated differently, because whereas our Memphis Area Association of Realtors, they are collecting data for 5 states. The state of Mississippi, so the Mississippi Association of Realtors decided that everyone in the state was going to use the same systems to list their properties and for other people within the state to see those properties. So people, our Memphis area Association of Realtors, I think their reach only goes about 200 or maybe 113 miles or something like that. It's not 200 miles, but you can see listings and statistical data if you're a realtor in the state of Mississippi for everywhere from DeSoto County, down to as far as Harrison County, which is like the last major county or one of the last major counties that you go through before you get to like New Orleans and things like that. And so we're able to see these. So their numbers are a little bit different and will sound a little bit bigger than ours. in certain instances, and you'll see that, but that's because they're covering a larger area. Uh, and that's why I wanted to talk about MLSs. So we'll take the last 10 minutes or so to discuss that. And I want to show you an MLS that all of our agents can have access to that has nothing to do with any of the boards that you're currently members of. So the average list price in the state of Mississippi, well, actually, this is Northwest Mississippi because I drilled it down. So it's $358,629. That's the average list price. So if you have someone in Tennessee that has a $170,000 loan, the odds of them going to Northwest Mississippi and being able to use that loan is not impossible, but you're going to be facing an uphill battle because that's the average list price you may be, depending on what properties you find and what people's different motivations are. All of that plays a significant role. I do want to point that out. You can find a good deal for your client in no matter in any market. It just depends on, like I said, how you're going about doing the search for your clients, what your clients are doing to aid in that, and then when you're running across people, what is their motivation for selling? And that's really the main goal of the real estate professional, is to bring a buyer and a seller together and help them to come to a common ground where they can create a win-win situation through the transfer of real property. The average days on the market in the state of Mississippi is 57 days. So again, when people are asking us, why hasn't my listing sold? It's been on the market 27 days. It's in immaculate condition, all of that. It's priced right. This is something that you guys can look at and lean on to say to your client, hey, our average days on the market is ranging actually from 57 to 66 days. And you can say that with confidence, and there's data to back that up. So moving on to Arkansas. In Arkansas, we had about $28,456,620 in closed volume from August of last year over August of the year before. They have, and they're, like I said, each person's information is a little bit different. They have an absorption rate of about 2.48. About 95% of all of the properties that are listed in the state of Arkansas are in eastern Arkansas, which is what our multiple listing service covers. About 95% of those properties sell for the list price. The average or the median sale price for conventional loans, so people who have conventional loans that buy residential real estate in eastern Arkansas, the median sales price for them is $267. And then the FHA, which is the actually what most people are using to purchase homes if they're getting financing, their FHA median sale price is $229,900. So you can get all of this information if you're a realtor in Arkansas, and you're a member of the Eastern Arkansas Association of Realtors, which I am not a member of the Eastern Arkansas Association of Realtors, but I am a member of the Memphis Area Association of Realtors. They are considered to be sister boards, and so I'm able to pay for access to the Eastern Arkansas Association of Realtors MLS, which is a system called Navica, and have that information, be able to list my properties that I have get for sale over there as well. The same thing is the way it works. The same way if you're a Tennessee agent and you are looking to have access to the Mississippi board, the Northwest Mississippi Association of Realtors, you can join them and have them be your secondary board or sister board, where you could get access to their MLS, but not have to pay the fees to be a member of their actual realtor organization. Now, if you're a realtor and you subscribe to the National Association of Realtors, you are able to call yourself a realtor in all 50 states, because the National Association of Realtors is a for-profit trade organization that operates in all 50 states. But and you can advertise yourself as that in the states that you have license. So I did want to make sure that people understood that. And I also want to finally make sure that people understand how multiple listing services work. Most uh, most people only associate the multiple listing service, well, if you're a realtor, with their local realtor board. Most people do not think about the fact most people do not think about the fact that every person who passes their real estate exam does not choose to be a member of the for-profit organization, National Association of Realtors. Most people, and this is especially the case in rural areas. So, like, I know there are several little areas over in Arkansas, for example, where those people use an independent MLS called EZ MLS, because there's no board close enough to them for them to really reap the benefits of being a member. Now, I do know that EZ MLS is very reasonable. I think it's like $100 a year for an agent to join it. I don't think that you need necessarily. I'm gonna be sure here, because here we go. Okay, so actually, I just found out something. We're gonna find out something. We find out something new here together. EZMLS doesn't look like it's still around, um, but it was a very reasonable multiple listing service for those people in Arkansas at the time. I do know that people um, were using it in like the rural, like smaller rural areas. I know it was used a lot in like Forest City and things of that nature at one point. But there are multiple listing services that operate differently. Like I said before, we have the Memphis Area Association of Realtors that really just has houses listing information for 5 specific counties. It's Shelby, Tipton, Hardeman, Fayette, and Lauderdale, I think. And then the obviously the Mississippi MLS it's called MLS United, and it unites the state in a way. I'm actually from Central Mississippi. Was born in Southern Mississippi, but grew up most of my life in Central Mississippi. And then as I became older, a teenager, I moved closer, moved to Memphis, and I'm able to see things in the MLS United that are for sale, pending, find agent information, schedule showings, and all of those things for properties from where I'm from, which is like 200 miles away. So that's one of the differences. It just, that particular board, the Northwest Mississippi Association of Realtors, and all those boards in Mississippi just decided that that was the best option for their state, and so they're using that. So you can get access to any property that's available for any realtor in the state of Mississippi, whereas you can't do that here in Tennessee. We have the Central, I think it's the Central Tennessee Association of Realtors. We've got the Nashville Association and all these different things. And so you have to literally be a member. Like, I think our board, I don't think it goes 100 miles. I think it stops just outside of Jackson, Tennessee, at which Jackson, Tennessee, which is only about 71 miles from here, has their own MLS and a different board that they report to. And finally, we here at the Best Real Estate Company all have the ability to gain access to a national MLS. I have been a member of this MLS for probably 3 or 4 years now, at least 4 years, going on 5 actually. And it's a national MLS. Like I said, it has over 90,000 real estate brokers and agents participating in it from California to New York. And I actually found out about the multiple listing service when I joined, when I got my Missouri license. A lot of you probably don't even remember that about me, but I do have a real estate license in Missouri, as does one of our other brokers here, Juanita MacArthur. And so when we went to figure out how to become realtors and get access to the MLS and all of that in that state, those people in that state were like, well, that's not really a thing for us, necessarily joining a board. So this is what we do. So they gave us access, they told us about this national MLS, which we joined. It costs about $380 a year. To be a member. You can pay that all at once. You can make monthly payments. There's no commitment to stay a part of it or anything like that. The multiple listing service does feed to all the property portals that your local MLS feeds to. So Realtor.com, Homes.com, Redfin, any of those sites, Movoto, any of those things that you could come up with, it feeds to those things, and you're giving your clients exposure, not just from agents that are local, but from agents all over the country. You have the ability in here to have an open listing, which means that you are opening it up to allowing these other people from other states to, share their buyers with you for the properties. This particular multiple listing service is not owned by the National Association of Realtors, nor does it have a licensing agreement or anything with them. They are a totally separate organization. My state MLS was designed and started by a woman, so that was a plus for me. And because it's not a member or affiliated in any way with the National Association of Realtors, I am still able to list and advertise my commissions for what I'm going to be paying to a buyer's agent in that multiple listing service. I am able to also print out MLS sheets for other agents who may want to take a MLS sheet to a listing that I have that they found. And I just want to tell you, I am not, Memphis is not the only, I said Memphis, but I am not the only company. We are not the only company that has this property listed. Or not has a property listed, but that has any properties listed in this MLS. That's the thing that I want to point out. It shows me how many times right away that my listing has been viewed in here. I have one listing in here where it's been viewed 104 times. They actually go out and find a FEMA flood map, so they'll tell you with the listing if your property is in a flood zone based on the latest information in here. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful tool. And it gives you different ways that you can print the MLS information. Like I said, you have an agent view, a public view, a client view, just the photos. You can print it out as a brochure and things of that nature. It has a CRM. So all the things that your local MLS feed has, this has it. This My State MLS has it. And also, like I said, you have more flexibility because you're not tied to the clear communication rules and all of those things that come through with being affiliated with the National Association of Realtors. So this is an option for listing properties that we offer to our non-affiliated agents, those agents who choose not to join the local realtor boards. And I'm not advocating for you to do one or the other, join or not join. I just want, as a leader within the company, I just want you guys to understand that you do have these tools and resources available. So if there are some of you that are out there that are wondering if hey, I should stay with the National Association of Realtors because that's the only way I'm going to have access to the MLS, I want to assure you that that should not be the only reason that you stay a member of the National Association of Realtors, because we do have an alternative to that for people who choose not to be a member of the National Association of Realtors. But on the flip side of that, I don't want to make it seem like there is not value in being a part of the National Association of Realtors, because they do provide a wealth of wonderful, wonderful information for those of you who are members. And they do have a lot of education and things, that I think are valuable and can help you to grow your business. This is just one aspect that the National Association of Realtors kind of had a monopoly on that I always agree should be busted up. I can come up with a ton of reasons why you should be a member of the National Association of Realtors, especially if you're a new person, if you're a timid person, if you've never sold anything, things like that. Because like I said, they have a lot of great, valuable information that you can use to help boost your business and propel it forward. But at the same time, if you're an agent that is seasoned and you don't need all those very basic generic first steps, you just need to be able to, hit the ground running and promote your listings and get them out to, the masses in the most efficient way possible. This is a way to do it. So if you guys want more information, if you want me to walk you through this My State MLS in a previous or a future episode, please let me know. I will be very happy to do that. And the last thing that I wanted to do is talk about the chapter that I finished in this book. I did tell you guys we're going to be doing some things to focus our attention on how to build confidence and how to better communicate with people and strengthen our relationships. And I just wanted to say that there is a section in here, and this I actually read the first section so far, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to point out. I don't want to elaborate a lot on them. I just want to share them. So under the section in the introduction where you're talking about what this book can do for you, there's a section called The Key to Successful Human Relations. And the first thing that stuck out to me is this statement. The real key to successful human relation is learning as much as we can about the human nature as it is, not as we think it ought to be. Only when we understand just what we are dealing with are we in a position to deal with it successfully. So let's take a look at human nature. Let's see just what it is that other people really want. Let's get together and work out some methods for supplying these needs and wants. Let's learn how to work with human nature, work with it rather than against it. And then at the end of chapter 1, um, they give us a summary of chapter 1 in a nutshell. And they lay out some very distinct things that I think I should share with you guys for you guys to kind of marinate on a little bit. And if you guys want to talk to me about this book, or if you have some other materials that you think we should be reading to help us grow our ability to form strong relationships and partnerships, then please, by all means, share that. But here's the first thing that the chapter summarized, or this section summarizes from the chapter for us. It says, it is a proven fact that from 66 to 90% of all failures in the business world are failures in human relations. So, not the tasks as you understand them to be, not the processes that have been set up for people to follow in order for the business overall to be successful. 66 to 90% of all failures in the business world are a breakdown in human relations. So a breakdown in how we deal with one another. And that to me is astonishing. So-called personality problems such as timidity, shyness, and self-consciousness are basically problems in dealing with people. And I know you guys have, so many of you have heard me say this so many times, and then people say, well, you're not an introvert. I truly am an introvert. If you listen to my voicemail on my phone, my cell phone, when you call it, most of you don't listen to it, but if you listen to it, it tells you I'm available from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday to talk to you, because I have an anxiety of the telephone. It makes my heart race when it rings. I have to think about answering people that are in my family. Like, I just have it gives me anxiety to walk around with the phone, to have to look at it and all of those things. And after I've done so much talking and communicating in a day, I feel drained. Usually, I spent 2 years being the president of the Women's Council of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. And by the grace of God, our chapter was able to be the number one chapter in the nation 2 years in a row, both years that I served as president. It would literally cause me to have to throw up. So after getting up, hosting an event, talking to a bunch of people, shaking a bunch of people's hands, afterwards, I would literally drive away from that event and go and throw up. I literally just stopped doing that this year when I was no longer president. Now I can get up and it's fine, but the pressure that was on me was huge. So timidity, shyness, self-consciousness, I felt all of those things before in my life and dealing with people, and they were causing problems for me. Now I'm able to compartmentalize. I have a ritual that I do every single morning before I leave my home that gives me the ability to speak to people with confidence, and to try to have grace and to be able to think through the things that I may have to say in a day. And obviously I'm not perfect, and I can't you know uh, foretell or perceive all the things that I may have to say or talk about. But just having a ritual in the morning where I'm focused on how I plan to communicate during the day is a big thing for me. And when I leave the real estate office on Friday at 4 or 5 o'clock, I spend the rest of the weekend totally recuperating. If I say 10 words, it's a miracle. The only time I'm going to really talk is if I know beforehand that I'm supposed to over the weekends. So that just kind of shows you that even though you can have these problems, you can work to overcome them, as I did. Learn skill in dealing with people with confidence, and you will automatically improve your own success and happiness. That is absolutely true. I remember a long time ago, a while ago, I heard dress for the job that you want. And that always kind of confused me because I didn't really know what job I wanted. And then I realized, okay, well, you want to work for yourself. You want to be self-employed. And then how do those people dress? There was no way for me to know. And I actually wound up feeling very self-confident about that until I met um, Larry Mayall, who told me to just be yourself. If you if you just be yourself, then the people that you're supposed to be connected with will come to you, and you don't have to dress a certain way to show your true personality. And so he was very casual, coming to work. Well, I don't want to say very casual, but he was a casual guy coming to work. He had usually wore jeans and a polo, or a button down shirt or something like that. I don't think I ever saw him in a tie. In all the years that I worked with him, I don't think I ever saw that once. But he was always confident. He always spoke with authority, and people always gave him respect. And so I learned that if he can do that, I can do it. And it's made all the difference in my ability to connect with people and feel comfortable and have confidence in myself. And it did actually help to grow my business. The last thing is learn the underlying principles involved with dealing with people, and you won't need gimmicks. And that one right there stuck out the most to me because when we, for those of you who have been around long enough, you know that we were once First National Realty, and then we joined a franchise, and that didn't work out for us. The franchise wanted us to do things that we weren't, seeing the plausibility for us and being successful doing those things. So we severed our relationship, and then we became Best Real Estate Company. And one of the things that people were saying, some of our agents who weren't so sold on the name yet, they were just like, "Oh, it sounds cheesy. Best Real Estate Company. It sounds cheesy," and da 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 da. And they weren't even really thinking about what was the reasoning behind um, us being called Best Real Estate Company. And LaDonna Mayall, who is our owner, actually did a very thorough video and explained why she came up with the name Best Real Estate Company. And once she gave her example, just because I'm a nerd and I wanted to be, know where she got her data, I went and did the same search and realized that there was a very specific, it was to our benefit as an organization based on advertising data and different things like that to use the word best. And so I thought, well, the agents are still saying that it sounds gimmicky. We're not a gimmicky type of real estate company. We are no frills, no fuss. We have a very direct model. Our agents tend to be very direct and concise and precise in what they're doing. And so that was the kind of the thing that I started out with as promoting us. If those of you who are around at that time remember, I started these social media posts and things like that, and I would tell people we're the best real estate company in the Mid-South, which I still do say that because I believe that with all my heart. We are the best real estate company. Yes, see, best real estate company. We are the best real estate company, and we are the best in the South just because of the service that we provide. And to me, in my mind, that was true. It was not a gimmick. So I promoted that. Like, we as a company don't give you gimmicks. We give you quality, top-notch, undeniable service that will stick with you forever, that you will want to come back and do business with the best in the future. And that made all the difference in the world. And so now, Best Real Estate Company, when I'm out and about, people know who we are. I've gone to out of state, to different conventions and things like that. And people have come up to me from other states that I don't know from Adam, just because I have on a Best Real Estate Company shirt. They say, "Hey, do you know this person? Do you know that person?" So our reputation does precede us, and no, it is not gimmicky. So with that being said, I encourage you guys to go out, take a look, and see if you can find this information that I shared with regard to numbers, in terms of how the real estate market is doing. I definitely urge you guys to go out and really research how multiple listing services work. I hope I gave you enough information to start on. And I share that again, not because I'm looking for people to make a mass exodus from being NAR members. That's not it. I just want people to understand their options, because the next lawsuit that's coming towards us is a lawsuit regarding the clear communication rule that NAR put out, which basically, among other things, prohibited pocket listings. And now people are saying they need those back. So there's always something going on in our world, and we just always need to be prepared for it and at least understand that it's out there. And the other big thing that I urge you guys to pay attention to, because I think it could create the opportunity for us to have some more buyers eventually, is this lawsuit regarding these algorithms and these rental uh, the rental software. So it's about the rental software having biased algorithms in it that that violate people's rights when it comes to their ability to rent, namely Section 8 people and low income people. That's going to be something that I think eventually is going to it's eventually going to become a thing. And I have, I understand we have landlords and things like that. Um, um, People who have landlords and who collect rents and things like that may not want to hear that, but the truth of the matter is that it's happening. It's also happening in a big way here in Shelby County. We have a new organization that is kind of heading this up for the National Low Income Housing Coalition. And they are called the Memphis Public Interest Law Center. So they have lots of different programs, but their whole the bulk of their practice is geared around fighting and advocating for renters' rights. So you guys might want to go and check them out. I do believe that's going to be an issue that's going to blow up pretty soon, and the Department of Justice is involved in that, just the way they were involved with NAR and the real estate commissions. And so you guys need to be on the lookout, not hoping that, I'm not asking you to do that because I'm thinking something negative is going to happen. I really think that there is an opportunity for more business to come out of it, as it is with all of these things and how we perceive them. They don't necessarily have to be negative. And so with that being said, I'd like to thank you so much for your joining us today. And I welcome and appreciate all feedback. And, if you have anything that you want me to cover or talk about, please let me know. And until next time, I hope that you guys are able to take care of yourselves, stay safe in all this rain out here, and sell something. Bye-bye.